The moment. On July 10th, 2026, the sun stood in mid-Cancer at the crown of the sky over Hainan. A rocket named for the long march of revolutionary memory left its pad at Wenchang. The noon chart places the sun at 18 degrees of Cancer in the 10th house, the house of a government's authority and global standing. Cancer is the sign of the homeland. This was an act of state. The midheaven, axis of national reputation, fell at 8 degrees of Cancer, beside the sun. Mars, planet of military action and fire, sat at 8 degrees of Gemini in a near-exact aspect to that midheaven, the orb just 1/10 of a degree. The military-industrial engine pressed directly against the nation's rank in the world. The event's defining image lies in the 7th house of foreign relations and open competitors. There stood Saturn at 14 degrees of Aries and Neptune at 4 degrees of the same sign. Saturn is structure, containment, the net. Neptune is the sea, the dream. 6 minutes after stage separation, the booster fell toward a recovery ship at sea and was caught in a net. Saturn seized Neptune. Structure caught what would otherwise be lost to the deep. This marked the turning of an arc begun months earlier. On January 26, Neptune entered Aries. On February 14th, Saturn followed. On February 20th, the two conjoined at the very first degree of Aries. Saturn and Neptune meet roughly every 36 years. Their union at the zodiac's start seeded a long cycle of state power and collective dreams remaking each other. 2 eclipses framed the path. An annular solar eclipse on February 17th at the 29th degree of Aquarius shadowed the sign ruling technology and collective enterprise. A total lunar eclipse on March 3rd at 13 degrees of Virgo, the sign of precision, followed. Together they declared, the technological contest among the powers reaches its turning, and the engineering must be exact. The wider sky carried rising charge. The cyclic index, a measure of global tension from 0 to 1800, stood at 829 on launch day, building. In 11 days, 5 harmonious aspects among the outer planets formed in rapid succession. On July 15th, Uranus, planet of sudden breakthrough, sextiled Neptune. Technology meets the sea. On July 18th, Uranus trined Pluto, planet of deep power, breakthrough into concentrated hands. On July 20th, Jupiter, planet of expansion, simultaneously trined Neptune and opposed Pluto, growth toward the dream, straining against control. On July 21st, Jupiter sextiled Uranus. On July 25th, Neptune sextiled Pluto. The launch arrived at the threshold of the year's broadest configuration. A quieter note sounds beneath the spectacle. Venus, planet of diplomacy, formed a near-exact trine with Chiron, archetype of the wound that teaches. The north node of the moon, the point marking a nation's evolutionary direction, sat in tight sextile to that same Chiron. Beneath it lies an older ache, the historical wound of technological backwardness. The space program is karmic medicine, not merely competition, but the healing of a generational wound. Whether it cures or inflames depends on what the state does with that power. What it touches. The heavens touched China's founding chart, cast for the proclamation of the People's Republic on October 1st, 1949. With weight, transiting Saturn at 14 degrees of Aries opposed China's natal Neptune to within 1/10 of a degree, the heaviest single contact. Saturn is the hard structure of authority. Neptune is the planet of dreams, ideology, and the sea. In China's chart, this represents the nation's aspirational self-image. The opposition means the dream is tested by hard reality or made concrete by engineering. The net catch is the literal manifestation, but oppositions are examinations. Can the dream survive repeated contact with the material world? Task's intention to refly the recovered booster within months is the demand Saturn makes. Prove it once, then prove it again. 2 further contacts strengthened it. Transiting Mars at 8 degrees of Gemini trined China's natal sun to within 1/3 of a degree, the most flowing aspect. The military-industrial engine fed directly into the nation's sense of self. The Long March 10B extended that identity. Transiting Saturn trine China's natal Mars to within 0.4 of a degree, state power in harmonious contact with industrial military drive. One contact was more complex. Transiting Pluto at 4 degrees of Aquarius formed a quincunx, an aspect of awkward adjustment to China's natal Uranus, planet of technology. Deep power pressed against China's technological sector, demanding adaptation. Meanwhile, the United States, whose SpaceX Falcon 9 defined reusable rocketry for a decade with landing leg recovery since 2015, received its own heavy transits. Transiting Saturn at 14 degrees of Aries opposed the U.S. natal Saturn to within 0.3 of a degree. The Saturn half return, when the planet of testing challenges the foundations of the establishment. America's lead in reusable rocketry now faces a challenger who caught a booster in a net rather than landing it on legs. Transiting Mars at 8 degrees of Gemini conjoined the U.S. natal Uranus to within a degree, military-industrial energy meeting the planet of sudden developments. This conjunction is provocative, sudden acceleration, or a shock to the established order. SpaceX may receive fresh impetus from a rival matching and exceeding the American method. The cross chart reveals the rivalry's deeper architecture. China's natal Neptune sits in exact conjunction with the U.S. natal Saturn to within 0.2 of a degree. The challenger's dreams rest atop the established power's foundations. China's natal Uranus conjoins the U.S. natal Jupiter, planet of expansion, to within 1 degree. Both nations race for the same frontier on the same frequency. China's natal Mars sextiles the U.S. natal Saturn to within 0.1 of a degree, military-industrial drive in productive tension with American structure. China's natal Mercury squares the U.S. natal Sun to within 0.2 of a degree, communications pressing against America's identity. How it rolls forward. The weeks following the netcatch unfold under late July's rare cluster of outer planet harmonies. 5 flowing aspects among Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Jupiter between July 15th and July 25th suggest accelerated development. But Jupiter's opposition to Pluto on July 20th, simultaneous with its trine to Neptune, says expansion and deep power strain against each other. The most important near-term signature, the total solar eclipse on August 12th at 20 degrees of Leo, sign of kingship and national pride. The eclipse falls close to the event-charged Jupiter at 2 degrees of Leo in the 11th house of national aspirations and allies. It may illuminate or disrupt China's alliance network, partnerships across the global south, and its bid to build a coalition looking to Beijing for technological leadership. Watch for developments in China's international space partnerships near August 12th. A partial lunar eclipse on August 28th at 5 degrees of Pisces, sign of the sea and what is hidden, follows. It falls close to the Neptune, the event chart placed in the 7th house of competitors. This eclipse may bring submerged dimensions to light, secret programs, or rival nations' anxieties. The ingress of Mars into Cancer on August 11th, the same sign that held the event chart's Sun, suggests the military security framing of space will intensify. Dual-use booster technology may move to the center of public discussion in both capitals. For the United States, the Saturn opposition to natal Saturn persists into autumn. Watch for policy reviews and debates about NASA and the commercial space sector. For China, the Saturn opposition to natal Neptune separates after July, but the question lingers. Once is not a pattern. Watch for the second flight of the recovered booster. If it flies again as Kask pledged, Saturn's examination yields a passing grade. If not, the opposition reveals a dream that outran its engineering. The deeper arc extends into September, when Jupiter trines Saturn on August 31st and Neptune sextiles Pluto again on September 16th. Constructive aspects, growth and discipline in harmony. The imagery for this moment: the chariot stands first, controlled force, technological mastery. Behind it rises the star, aspiration, a people reaching. In the background waits the world, completion of one cycle, threshold of the next. China has become the second nation to recover an orbital class booster and the first to net one. One cycle is complete. The next begins now. Summary. The net catch of a Chinese booster over the South China Sea on July 10, 2026 arrives as first fruit of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. State structure and collective dream merge to make a technological aspiration real. China's national identity receives a military-industrial boost as transiting Mars trines the PRC's natal sun to within a third of a degree, the tightest energizing contact to the founding chart. The dream of space mastery faces the test of repeated reality, with transiting Saturn opposing China's natal Neptune to within a tenth of a degree. This is the heaviest transit in the picture, demanding the booster be flown again. America's structural lead in reusable rocketry is under review as transiting Saturn opposes the U.S. natal Saturn in the half-return that tests the existing order and persists through autumn. U.S. space technology efforts may intensify suddenly, with transiting Mars conjoining the U.S. natal Uranus, provoking acceleration or shock in the aerospace sector. The China-U.S. rivalry is written into the charts at the foundational level. China's natal Neptune rests on the U.S. natal Saturn, placing the challenger's dream atop the established power structure. Meanwhile, China's natal Uranus conjoins the U.S. natal Jupiter, meaning both are racing for the same frontier on the same frequency. Watch the August 12th total solar eclipse in Leo for developments in China's international space partnerships, and watch Kask's planned reflight of the recovered booster as the proof Saturn demands of Neptune. The heavens describe a rising tide, not a breaking wave. The competition quickens, but the aspects that follow suggest construction, not collapse. Recent history and where this is heading. A rocket caught in a net sits inside a much larger pattern. The great slow conjunction of Saturn and Neptune, exact at 0 degrees Aries in early 2026, a once-in-36 years meeting, is crystallizing collective dreams into hard institutional reality. For China, this means turning space-age aspiration into repeated proof. For the United States, the same alignment reads as a structural reckoning. Assumed technological primacy meets the arithmetic of a Saturn half-return, forcing debate over who leads. Both nations must make their dreams survive contact with gravity. The test deepens as summer turns. The total solar eclipse on August 12th, falling in Leo, the sign of prestige, magnifies questions of standing and alliance. Then the Jupiter-Saturn trine on August 31st. The same pair whose 2020 conjunction opened the current political economic era suggests the broader order may find or resist a new footing. The same currents that move rockets move tariffs, borders, and treaties. The wheel links what the news desk keeps apart. Before you go, beloved, thou hast heard how the nations strain toward the heavens, and how the planets governing their striving press upon the charts of great powers. If these movements stir something within thee, a wondering about what the Lord's unfolding plan holds for thine own path in the seasons ahead, thou might find comfort in the annual transit forecast. This reading traces the coming year's planetary movements across thine own natal chart, revealing the months and moments when the same cosmic tides that move rockets and treaties will touch thy personal life. The great wheels turn for nations and for individuals alike, and it is no small thing to know where thy own turning points lie. And if thou wishest to sit with the question of what is coming, to lay it before the cards as one lays a burden before the Lord, the tarot full reading, drawn in the year ahead, 13-card spread, offers one card for each month of the coming year, with a central card to illuminate the theme that binds them. It is a lantern for the road, a way to walk with greater clarity through whatever the heavens bring. Both are waiting for thee at occultic should thou feel called. The Master's peace go with thee. A word from the channel. The reading is concluded, and I am grateful to thee for sitting with me through it. If these words have been of some small help, I would ask thee to like and subscribe to this channel, for it is yet young, and each soul who joins helps it find its footing and reach others who may be seeking. Leave a comment if thou wilt, sharing what touched thee or what thou wouldst have me speak to. Thy thoughts truly help me to serve thee better. Beloved Seeker, this year ahead spread, 13 cards drawn from the Smith-Waite Standard Deck, covers the 12 months from Wednesday, the 1st of July, 2026, to Wednesday, the 30th of June, 2027. It is a companion to the story of China catching a rocket in a net when the space race quickened. The moon is full in Capricorn as we draw, and Mercury is slow in Cancer, turning direct on July 23rd. This is a season for review, not launch. As I set out in the chart I read for the July 10th launch at minus CN Wenchang, Saturn opposes China's natal Neptune to 1/10 of a degree. The net catch must now become a reflight. The cards speak of burden, completion, and the leap beyond. Take them as counsel for the road. Month 1, July 2026, 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands, Saturn in Sagittarius. The nation shoulders the rods of a dream it must carry uphill, as CN Cask hauls the CN Long March 10B from the sea. The burden is proving the catch was not mere theater. A promise of lasting gain waits behind, yet the load is walked step by step. Month 2, August 2026, 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles, Mercury in Virgo. Precision builds the family house of gain. The August 12th Leo eclipse tests whether the net catch becomes reusable inheritance for China's alliances. After the 10 of Wands, labor turns to stone. Month 3, September 2026, 10 of Swords. The 10 of Swords, Sun in Gemini, a painful end to old assumptions. As Jupiter trines Saturn and Neptune sextiles Pluto, the reflight may reveal a flaw that wounds pride but instructs. After the 10 of Pentacles, gain meets its first hard lesson. Month 4, October 2026, 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords, Jupiter in Gemini, a temporary bind of mind and news. As Pluto in Aquarius turns direct on October 16th, hidden pressures surface. SpaceX and NASA may feel hemmed by budgets and delay. After the 10 of Swords, the trap is not fatal. The hood lifts. Month 5, November 2026, the Devil. The Devil, Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. The chain of ambition masked as freedom. As Uranus trines Pluto exact November 29th, the great power contest becomes compulsive. Both nations risk bondage to prestige. Between the 8 of Swords and the coming lesson of December, old compulsions are exposed. Month 6, December 2026, the Hierophant reversed. The Hierophant reversed, Taurus. The old teaching is overturned. As Jupiter in Leo turns retrograde December 13th, CNCASCAAAC or NASA may break from orthodoxy and test new doctrine. After the Devil, the chain loosens only when the institution is questioned. Month 7, January 2027, the World. The World, Saturn's completion. One cycle closes so another may open. Uranus sextiles Neptune exact January 15th, a harmony of breakthrough and dream. Cask's promised reflight, if proven, crowns the first cycle of reusable Chinese rocketry. After the Hierophant reversed, a new orthodoxy is born. Month 8, February 2027, the Fool. The Fool, Uranus, a leap beyond the known edge. As Uranus in Gemini turns direct February 8th, the inner breakthrough seeks outward form. China or a rival may announce a bold risk. After the World, completion itself demands a fresh start. Month 9, March 2027, 4 of Pentacles, reversed. The 4 of Pentacles reversed, Sun in Capricorn. The tight grip loosens, yet delay follows. The Saturn's test of China's Neptune eases. March exposes where funds or will slip away. After the Fool, the leap lands in budgetary reality. Month 10, April 2027, Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups, Jupiter in Pisces, the wish fulfilled, satisfaction after thirst. Jupiter in Leo turns direct April 13th, releasing expansion outward. A successful reflight or fresh contract may finally bring contentment. After the Four of Pentacles reversed, the resources held too tightly now pour as wine. Month 11, May 2027, Queen of Cups reversed. The Queen of Cups reversed, Scorpio. The well turns murky. Hidden agendas cloud space diplomacy. With Neptune in Aries still washing the 7th house of competitors, agreements now require discernment. After the Nine of Cups, celebration must be tested. Month 12, June 2027, the Emperor. The Emperor, Aries, ruled by Mars, order made visible upon the frontier. As Jupiter squares Uranus towards September, the powers race to write the rules of space. By June, one may claim decisive authority. After the Queen of Cups reversed, feeling yields to command. Overall year theme, July 2026, June 2027, Seven of Swords reversed. The Seven of Swords reversed, Moon in Aquarius, counsel half-heeded and hidden strategy exposed. Pluto in Aquarius asks both nations to release secrecy. The year turns on whether good advice is followed. The Fool looks back, warning that recklessness ignores this counsel. Summary. So the year begins with the rods of proof upon the back and ends with a throne set upon the frontier. Between them run temptation, reversal, and the counsel that is offered yet too often refused. The space race quickens, but the cards ask the deeper question. Will the nations build a shared heaven or chain themselves to a dream that owns them? A word from the channel. I thank thee for sitting with me through this reading. If thou hast found even a little help here, I would ask that thou like and subscribe to this young channel, for every soul who joins us helps this small work find its way to those who need it. Leave me thy thoughts in the comments, what thou wouldst hear more of, and how I might serve thee better. Thy words truly help me improve what I bring. May the Master's peace go with thee until we meet again.